We got something.
Greetings, Professor Falken.
The official business I'm in is I'm a computer security consultant, which is just a very highfalutin way of saying hacker.
Ethical versus non-ethical.
There's a difference between an ethical hacker and a non-ethical hacker. The ethical hacker may try to help you to find those vulnerabilities to see where you're vulnerable.
If you're trying to break into places to either steal data or set up some kind of a botnet or engage in somewhat nefarious activity, you're clearly a criminal.
What'd we just do?
The Republican Party just made a generous donation to the Black Panthers.
Farm out. Right arm.
Whether they want to take you down or to learn about you or to use your infrastructure to launch attacks against other areas or other people.
If you're trying to break into things in order to find their flaws and otherwise come about with a means to improve the security postures and the design of these sorts of things, you're engaging in a more beneficial activity.
Why hackers do what they do.
You have to play the psyche on both sides. You have to understand why people get paranoid from hearing about a hacker, and you have to understand what the hackers are trying to do to make people paranoid.
Bullies go after defenseless people, and some of the most defenseless people are using computers nowadays, so the bullies will learn how to use computers against them.
So the hackers try to do mass market in terms of looking for bigger vulnerabilities where they can get through to more systems. Those are the ones that they target. Those are the ones that we find to be more prominent out in the field.
It's part of human nature that I've never really sufficiently understood. Why people are motivated to destroy rather than create. I can't get it.
Can we truly be secure?
If we are educated and aware. The technology is there, the products are there, we just need people to understand how it works, why there are rules, why there are policies, why is it that you need to trust and not trust even those who you know. It is a very scary time, and the threat landscape has changed.
So I hid my worm there where no one would ever think to look. Voila.
The hackers are willing to try things that industry would never even consider as possible, let alone marketable or desirable.
Security has now risen to the top of the chain. Okay? It's no longer an afterthought. It's something that if you talk to any organization right now about anything, their first concern is security. The general public is now being more concerned about security. They are understanding that this is a real-life issue.
What do I need to worry about?
The biggest difficulty is not really the technology, but the rules that are set ahead of time. They tend to not like certain things looked at, and you try to walk them away from that to make it as realistic a scenario as possible.
People are bringing these security concerns to us rather than we going out to them and saying, hey, you need to be more secure. We find them coming to us and saying, how can I be secure? What do I need to be more secure? Do I need to be concerned about my social security number being out there in the wild? What is the internet and how secure is it going to be for me?
It's sometimes unnerving to people for me, the computer consultant, to come in and criticize the way they do business. But if they want a more secure setup, they need to really start examining just the way they go about what they do.
What can I do to protect myself?
The way we have structured our society and the way we've offloaded a lot of the decision-making processes and the archiving and record-keeping to computers, the vulnerability is certainly there.
Antivirus alone is not enough. There has to be a layered approach, meaning you need an antivirus, you need an anti-malware solution, you need your firewall to be enabled, you need your operating system, and most importantly, your applications to be patched.
Most of the problems I find are not simple fixes, or the solution is not a simple fix to most of the problems I find. It's really a matter of revisiting the architecture, revisiting the design of the system, and frankly, the bulk of my business is more business practice analysis than anything.
Most people think that, hey, if I patch the operating system, then I'm good to go. Now you have an attack coming from the applications you have on the operating system. You have an attack coming from the devices, device drivers. You have wireless. You have all these things playing into that. But people only concern themselves about the operating system layer only.
How bad is the problem?
We're surprisingly vulnerable. We have information that is relevant to the way we as a society function. It's on these systems, and it's able to be manipulated by parties who aren't supposed to be able to touch it.
We know what's running on the back end. We know how the hackers work. We know what they're trying to do. They're trying to build a botnet based on your system. You're not going to see anything. It's transparent to you, the end user.
And that's a setup for a very bad time, to say the least.
Greetings, Professor Falken.
Hello, Joshua?
Strange game. The only winning move is not to play.